Hey moms and parents out there, welcome back to The Now Mom. I'm Rachel Bennett and today we're gonna go shopping. It is almost school season and I love nothing more than going school shopping. I love school supplies, I love office supplies, I have drawers of supplies, I maybe might have an addiction, but I love it. But sometimes it can be overwhelming, it can be stressful, it can be out of your budget. So I'm gonna share with you today the do's, like the things to buy and the things not to buy for back to school for the homeschooler. Now, if you're doing online school or you're doing a hybrid system, a lot of these tips can apply to you as well. So I hope you guys stick to the very end because there's a lot of do's and don'ts when you buy your school supplies and it's time. Let's go shopping. Okay, item number one that you want to look for are folders. So there are two types of folders. There are the pocket folders as well as the prong folders. So I'm gonna open this up. Here's the pocket folder and here are the prong folders. I actually do not like the prong folders because I never put stuff inside the prongs. So I use my folders for completed project essay work. So really they only need one or two folders per person. And I only do two folders if you plan to do a lot of essay work, a lot of written stuff, a lot of finished project stuff. So I usually only get one folder, but this is about all you'll need. So one folder per kid. And honestly, English and essays are one of my big pushes because it's something that they'll use throughout their entire life. So on to the next item. All right, second item is going to be notebooks. We get a lot of notebooks. I love notebooks. The spiral notebooks are awesome. I tried to choose one notebook per subject. If your curriculum comes with its own perishable, so like a workbook specifically for math or English, then you don't need it. So you get one workbook per subject that doesn't have a perishable. So if you are learning history, then you would have one history notebook and that's where they would keep notes or their information or however you're gonna be learning. And then as well as say if you're doing a specific science and it doesn't have a subject workbook where you work in that and you answer questions there, then you would get a notebook. So I usually get about 3 notebooks per kid because that would cover history, that would cover their project that we do at the end of the year. So all the research on a country or a science project or whatever, as well as a third notebook for any other subjects that we might change or learn about or music or art or whatever. So I do about 3 notebooks per kid. And let's get this. Okay, this item I actually didn't really use a lot in public school, but I use a lot at homeschool, and that is highlighters. I love highlighters when they're working in a perishable workbook. They can highlight information as they get older and they have their own notebooks. They can go back and highlight things for research papers or essays as they go on to give a final. So it kind of helps them with memorizing as well as learning really important subjects. So highlighters is a big one for homeschoolers. Another one that I didn't think I would use as much as I do are dry erase markers. Now, I actually use this a lot in home organization parenting, as well as with school. So I buy a lot of dry erase markers during the school, back to school season because they are much cheaper. And we do a lot of dry erase work for the younger ages for handwriting, for math, for lots of different things. So dry erase markers, stock up. Okay, here is a tip not to buy. So as you are prepping for your classroom, try to avoid classroom decor. So as much as I think these are absolutely cute. I've done it, I've actually done it. I've decorated, I've done all sorts of stuff themes, all sorts of things. Even for younger kids, that is super fun, but they probably will not be staying in the classroom or whatever designated area the entire time. So they might be sitting at the table doing school. They might be following you around and sitting on your bedroom floor and doing school. They might be all over your house. And so if you have one classroom that's set up, you might get a little frustrated because you spent a lot of money on classroom decor. That is a waste of your money. So do not buy the classroom decor. I've bought stuff like this, hall passes or different things. And honestly, you don't use these. So do what you can for decorating, do the bare minimum. And unless you dedicate that time in the classroom the whole time, it might just be a waste of money to have a good fluid homeschool routine. All right, here comes the fun part. I absolutely love buying regular school supplies. So crayons and color pencils and markers. So I actually tend to overbuy, and I like to buy crayons because they make great gifts for kids later on in the school year. I buy a lot of those basic supplies, but what I go through the most are markers. I go through the most markers, hands down. Our family buys a lot of markers and we go through them all the time. I don't go through crayons very much. I usually buy like 4 packs a year, and I probably only go through like 1 or 2 packs because we always have a stash of crayons at our house. So don't buy extra crayons if you don't need them, or if your kids are older. Honestly, like if they're 3rd grade and older, they may not ever use the crayons, truly. I do like colored pencils, but you only need like 1 good set, maybe a backup. If you have some already at home, just buy 1 backup because you do not need a ton of colored pencils as well. But I do just always have them. So if you're gonna buy anything and this is your first year, 1 pack of colored pencils, like the big pack, should be good. Or you can buy a couple of the smaller packs and that's it. Don't stock up too much on the crayons. Again, it's just not needed. Markers, definitely. Okay, homeschoolers, I use a ton of Post-it notes. I put Post-it notes throughout like the books they're reading. If they're like researching something, I use a ton of Post-it notes. So I buy those. Okay, we're gonna do a fast like on the items of basic items, what to buy, what not to buy. Pens, I buy them only now because of business. The Sharpie, the highlighters we talked about, definitely get some highlighters. Let's see. Liquid glue. I don't buy a lot of liquid glue. If your child is probably in kindergarten, 1st or 2nd grade, they probably will need 1 or 2, but I don't buy liquid glue. What I do buy is a lot of the glue sticks. I like the glue sticks, and for a lot of projects, a lot of workbooks have like cut this out and glue this on, cut this out and glue this on. Definitely 4th grade and under, you're gonna be needing some good glue sticks, so buy those. Erasers, always good to have. Always, 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 always good to have. We do a lot of notebooking, which means a lot of pencils. So depending on what kind of pencil person you are, my older kids prefer the mechanical. My younger kids don't mind the wood pencils, so we buy the wood pencils. For erasers, just get a basic amount. Like this 3-pack for your entire family is good. That is like all you're gonna need all year. I do stock up on the mechanical pencils as well as the lead. They go through the mechanical pencils like crazy. I don't know where we lose all these things, but my kids prefer those my older kids prefer those. So I buy a lot of these. As a homeschooling mom, I love calendars. So I love a good dry erase board and it gives me like a flow, and I write on the board like Monday through Friday what we're kind of doing. Like, okay, today's history day, and now you know that that is a group lesson. So they all come to the history. Or today's like science project day, and I assign one of my kids to run a science project. I definitely think like having a planner like this or a big weekly planner that shows like the whole like list, that's awesome. Okay, we're down to like the last extra things that you may or may not need in your homeschool classroom / your homeschool curriculum, just like school year. So when it comes down to it, if your kids are doing art and you have like a good art book or whatever art you're flowing, a good sketchbook is good to have, but it doesn't have to be like super fancy. Walmart has them for like $4 or $5, but you can get like really cheap ones. Here's just a regular sketch pad, and those might come out, but then that you can keep those in your folder. So it's good to have like a good sketch pad if you're doing art. If not, you don't have to do that. You can just get some regular like cardstock and color on those, or do whatever art and keep it in your folder, so you don't have to actually have a sketchbook. But my older kids that do like like more detailed art class and they have like a better art book, I would do like a sketchbook for them. Construction paper, again, if you have younger ages, go ahead and buy that. My older kids, like 4th grade and up, do not use that. These like pencil pouches, you probably have them from last year, just use those. Honestly, like they don't carry their pencil pouches around, so that's like not a big thing that you have to have, because if you just have like a bin of stuff where your classroom is, they just go and get stuff and they bring it back, and that's great. Personal individual pencil sharpeners, good to have, but like you don't need it. If you have like multiple children, just get one really good one, like a mechanical one that like does it, and that way you're not losing these and you're not losing money, and you have one in one place, maybe in your office or your classroom or whatever, and you can keep that organized. This might be like a given, but you're not going to need a backpack because they're not leaving, so I don't buy like those because they're kind of more pricey. So I avoid the backpacks, I avoid the lunch sacks, I avoid the individual like personalized items when they go to school, because at home you don't need that. So if you wanted to set up something fun where they have like a designated area for working, or buy them some like fun name card or something, you can do that. But honestly, this is excess that you do not need to waste your money on. Okay, you might be thinking about paper. Paper, I would get maybe like 1 pack. So if you do binders with paper instead of notebooks, you can do that. I buy a binder every year and I never finish it. So I do have binders for like, there are some curriculums that you print off. So if you have a curriculum that needs to be printed off, you put it in a binder. That is definitely something that you can do. But honestly, if you're just prepping for your school year, you probably don't even need the loose paper, because the notebooks are going to be just fine. I just discovered that Walmart has kind of a bulk section for school supplies. So you can buy like a bulk set of markers or crayons. And they have like, so 10 each of the 8 colors. So that'd be 10 packs in here. 30 packs of these eight like crayons or whatever, scissors, pencils, glue, all sorts of things. But you know what? You want to do the math, because I just did the math on this Crayola classroom set, and it is $1.95 for a pack of 10. Whereas you can get the $1 for the 10 pack. And so that's cheaper. So the $1 for the 10 pack, you'll want to buy that instead of this one. The glue stick, it says it's 23 cents a glue stick, and that's from Elmer's, and I think that's actually better than the 2-pack over there. So do the math, because it makes a difference. And if you're trying to cut costs, because let's be honest, homeschoolers don't get any support on the supplies unless you go to a charter school or you have like an online public school that you're going to. You're not going to get any reimbursement for buying all these supplies. So you don't want to buy too much, and you don't want to buy bulk thinking that you're going to save money, because those markers are not saving you any money. Those crayons are probably not saving you any money either. So get what you absolutely need. Don't have to buy some of this excess. All right, we're down to the last things. Do you need a file folder? Probably not. Do you need a file organizer if you want to keep all of the kids' like folders in one place? This is going to be a great buy if you're that type of organization person. If you want each kid to keep all of their folders somewhere else, like you have some lockers or you have like little areas where they keep that, then you won't need these. So don't worry about that. Calculators, probably not going to need it. Tape, I always stock up in tape because I love tape. Push pins, I never use push pins, but if you have that type of, if you have like a board where you're going to put your art, great. A lot of these supplies are just kind of excess. Do you need them? Not for homeschooling. If you want them personally, get them. Again, binders, if you want to put a subject in these binders that you're going to print off, great. If you're buying curriculum that already has like a print, like a book that they're going to send to you and it's a perishable book, you don't even need the binders. So don't worry about getting binders. Love water bottles, super cute. You don't need them. Lunch sacks, you don't need them. Save money on all of that, you guys. I love organizers, but unless you have a designated space to put all this stuff, make sure you don't buy too many organizers, because I've fallen into that trap and this can get pricey. They are super cute and I love them. So do get an organizer if you have a designated space, but don't worry about it. All right, so I hopefully covered everything that you will need or not need as a homeschooler or a mom that's going to be schooling at home. Again, this is specifically for like homeschooling. If you're doing online school and your teacher requires certain things, obviously buy what they require, because that's what you're going to need. But you will be cutting a lot of costs if you just cut out all this extra that you don't need for your kids. So you can actually save money while doing homeschool, because you will probably needing to be putting in money into buying your curriculum. So I hope you guys enjoyed shopping with me today as you're preparing for your homeschool, transitioning from maybe public school to homeschool. If you guys have any questions, please comment down below. I'll be answering them in the comment section as much as possible. Follow me on the Rach Bennett on Instagram or the Now Mom Instagram. I can help with your transition from public school to homeschool if you have any questions. Because again, I've been in and out of public school, in and out of homeschool multiple times, and gone through a lot of like different transitions, different curriculums, and we finally found what works for us. So we'd love to enjoy more questions from you. So thanks for hanging out. I'm hoping that you guys have a good transition and you can do what you need to set up. If you haven't watched my transitioning to homeschool video, I will link that down below, so make sure you do that and keep watching, because I have a lot more homeschool videos coming up. Thanks everybody, we'll see you guys soon.